नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात दशतारिणे। Is it appearance or disappearance of Ramananda Rai? Disappearance. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7, Text 9. The chapter entitled Scheduled Incarnations. Please repeat after me. Yad Venam Utpathagatam Dija Vaikya Vajra Nisplushta Paurusha Bhagam Niraye Patantam Tatrarthito Jagati Putra Padang Chalebhe Dugdha Bhushani Vasudha Sakalani Jena Yad Venam Utpathagatam Dija Vaikya Vajra Nisplushta Paurusha Bhagam Niraye Patantam Tatrarthito Jagati Putra Padang Chalebhe Dugdha Bhushani Vasudha Sakalani Jena Yad Venam Utpathagatam Dija Vaikya Vajra Nisplushta Paurusha Bhagam Niraye Patantam Tatrarthito Jagati Putra Padang Chalebhe Dugdha Bhushani Vasudha Sakalani Jena. Please. Chalebhe Dugdha Vashuni Vasudha Sakalani Jena. patantam tatrardhito jagati putra padam chalebhe Dugdha vasudhi vasudha sakala. Mataji's Yadvenam utpatha gatam vijavaika vajra Nishplushta paurasha bhagam niraye patantam Putra padam chalebhe Anybody else? Okay. Word meaning. Yat, when, Venam, unto King Vena, Utpathagatam, going astray from the religious path, Dija, of the Brahmanas, Vaikya, words of cursing, Vajra, thunderbolt, Nishplushta, being burned by, Paurusha, great deeds, Bhagam, opulence, Niraye, into hell, Patantam, going down, Tratva, by delivering, Arthita, so being prayed for, Jagati, on the world, Putrapadam, the position of the son, Cha, as well as, Levhe, achieved, Dugdha, exploited, Boshuni, produce, Boshudha, the earth, Shakalani, all kinds of, Yena, by whom. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Maharaj Vena went astray from the path of righteousness, and the Brahmanas chastised him by the thunderbolt curse. By this, King Vena was burnt with his good deeds and opulence, and was en route to hell. The Lord, by his causeless mercy, descended as his son by the name of Prithu, delivered the condemned king Vena from hell, and exploited the earth by drawing all kinds of crops as produce. Purport. According to the system of Varnasrama Dharma, the pious and learned Brahmanas were the natural guardians of society. The Brahmanas, by their learned labor of love, would instruct the administrator kings how to rule the country in complete righteousness. And thus the progress would go on as a perfect welfare state. The kings or the Kshatriya administrators would always consult the council of learned Brahmanas. They were never autocratic monarchs. The scriptures like Manu Samhita and other authorized books of the great sages were guiding principles for ruling the subjects, and there was no need for less intelligent persons to manufacture a code of law in the name of democracy. The less intelligent mass of people have very little knowledge of their own welfare. As a child has very little knowledge of its future well-being. The experienced father guides the innocent child towards the path of progress, and the childlike mass of people need similar guidance. The standard welfare codes are already there in the Manu Samhita and other Vedic literatures. The learned Brahmanas would advise the king in terms of those standard books of knowledge and with reference to the particular situation of time and place. Such Brahmanas are not paid servants of the king, and therefore they had the strength to dictate the king on the principle of scriptures. This system continued even up to the time of King Maharaj Chandragupta, and the Brahmana Chanakya was the unpaid prime minister. Maharaj Vena did not adhere to this principle of ruling, and he disobeyed the learned Brahmanas. The broad-minded Brahmanas were not self-interested, but looked to the interest of complete welfare for all the subjects. They wanted to chastise King Vena for his misconduct, and so prayed to the Almighty Lord as well as cursed the king. Long life, obedience, good reputation, righteousness, prospects of being promoted to higher planets, and blessings of great personalities are all vanquished simply by disobedience to a great soul. One should strictly try to follow in the footsteps of great souls. Maharaj Vena became a king undoubtedly due to his past deeds of righteousness, but because he willfully neglected the great souls, he was punished by the loss of all the above mentioned acquisitions. In the Vamana Purana, the history of Maharaj Vena and his degradation are fully described. When Maharaj Prithu heard about the hellish condition of his father, Vena, who was suffering from leprosy in the family of a Mleccha, he at once brought the former king to Kurukshetra for his purification and relieved him of all sufferings. Maharaj Prithu, incarnation of God, described by the prayer of the Brahmanas to rectify the disorders on earth. He produced all kinds of crops, but at the same time, he performed the duty of a son who delivers his father from hellish conditions. The word putra means one who delivers from hell called put. That is a worthy son. So Brahma is narrating, describing all the incarnations in brief to his son Narada. Yesterday you have heard about the incarnation of Prishnigarbha, who appeared in front of Dhruva Maharaj. And although here elaborate descriptions are not given, it is given in a very brief way. So this King Vena, he actually descended from Dhruva Maharaja's lineage. Dhruva Maharaj, his son was Utkala, his eldest son was Utkala, and Utkala denied to become king, and he became a brahmachari. Utkala became a brahmachari. Then some of his other sons became king, and in that lineage, King Anga was born, and Anga performed a sacrifice to achieve a good son, but somehow or other, that sacrifice apparently became a failure. His son became little polluted, maybe due to some association or due to some sinful activities, he became polluted. So much so that from his childhood, Vena, he was like a terrorist. He was playing with children, and sometimes if there is little disagreement with other children, he will murder some of the children. In this way, his torture was increasing and increasing day by day. And King Anga was little surprised that I achieved my son through proper fire sacrifice, and why it happened like this. But as a pure devotee, Anga was a very nice devotee, very pure devotee. So he thought everything is Krishna's mercy. This is the way of devotees thinking. Devotee always take everything as mercy. So he thought it is Krishna's mercy upon me because my son is not obedient and he is like a terrorist. So maybe Krishna wants me to give up everything if my son is very much obedient and if my son is very much, progressive in devotional life. I may feel so much attached, and I may feel so much attached to my wife. Actually, his wife was a daughter of Mrityu, daughter of death personified. The demigod of death. His daughter was Sunita. Sunita is Vana's mother, Anga's wife. So, most probably, not most probably, it is natural, when mother is coming from such a family, she is one of the daughter of death personified. So that's why Vena became very much, very rude and rough and very cruel. He was very cruel. So anyway, then Anga took it positively. King Anga, he thought, it is also Krishna's mercy upon me. Just like in Prabhupada's life, when Prabhupada's wife was not up to the standard, then Prabhupada was little morose, little unhappy in the beginning, but his father encouraged him. His father told, your wife is not so nice devotee. It is a plus point, it is a positive point that you can take sannyas very easily. Isn't it? There is an incident like this. So, devotee takes everything very positively. Everything is positive in devotee's life. Tatya anukampa shvashamikṣamano. Everything is your mercy. So, Anga, what he did, in the middle of the night, he left the palace and he left his son, wife, everyone. He went to the forest. He started performing devotional service and devotional life, practicing devotional life in the forest. In those days, it was very common. People are not afraid of any awkward position. They would go to forest and they would live alone, eating some forest fruits like this, we cannot imagine at the present age of Kali, we cannot imagine. We need all facilities. It is fact. So anyway, so when Vena left, then it is natural when there is no leader. Sometimes even bad leader is necessary, because without leader, the rocks and dacoits and gundas, they become very strong. If they understand there is no king, there is no leader, they become very strong. So all the anti-socials, they started making problems, started stealing, robbing, they started making great problems. Then all the sages, Prabhupada explained in the purport, in those days, the sages were the natural guardian sages, the munis and rishis, brahmins, vaishnavas, pure devotees. They were the natural guardian of the society. They are not so much concerned in politics, but when there is case of emergency, if there is emergency cases like when King Anga left the kingdom, it was a case of emergency, and all the dacoits and all the antisocial, they started creating problems. So all the sages, they gathered together and they decided to establish, to enthrone Vena as a king. Because although Vena was cruel, but without king, without any leader, they could not find any suitable leader. And they thought Vena may change after getting position. He may change his nature after getting the position of a king. He may become gentle. And thinking like this, also Vena was a descendant of King Dhruva. So they thought, because ultimately he is coming from he's a descendant of King Dhruva, a descendant of a pure devotee. So maybe he can also change. Let us give him a chance. Let us give him a chance. So then the chance was given. But unluckily, unluckily, he got the chance, but he misused the chance. And I remember today's quotation of Srila Prabhupada. We got the chance, the greatest chance we got, no? But we are misusing the chance. That's why you are most unfortunate. Prabhupada said that you got the greatest chance. That is, you are very fortunate, most fortunate. But you are misusing the chance. You are also most unfortunate. It's a very nice quotation today's morning in Mangalarati Prabhu was reading. So Vena was given chance, Vena was given chance, but he misused the chance and he thought, now I have become God. So he declared that everybody should worship me. This is the nature of all demoniac kings like Hiranyakashipu. He was also demanding, you worship me, I am God. So King Vena was also declaring like this, I am God, worship me, no need to worship other God. And if you worship other God, I will punish you. And he was punishing all the Vaishnavas and Brahmins and all the exalted personalities. It is the root of fall down. There is a story of Nahusha, I think all of you know. Nahusha, somehow or other, he became the king of heaven. King of heaven. And after becoming the king of heaven, somehow or other, by some pious activities, he became king of heaven. After becoming king of heaven, he thought, now I am king of heaven, I should marry wife of Indra, Shachi. Wife of Indra is Shachi. I should marry Shachi because I am now king of heaven, so I should also get the queen of heaven. So he sent somebody to Shachi that I want to marry you. Now I am king of heaven. I got the chair position of Indra. So you are Indrani, so you should come and marry me. And Shachi denied. Then he became very angry. Then Shachi was helpless. So she made a plan. She made a plan. She thought, if he can offend some great personalities, great Vaishnavas and great Brahmins, then he will be finished. So then Shachi told, yes, I agree to marry you, but on one condition. What is that condition? You should be brought to my palace by some saints, by some munis and sages. They will carry your palanquin. You will sit on a palanquin and that will be carried by some sages, some munis. So it was a trick. It was a plan made by Shachi. So then he said, no problem. I am king of heaven. I can do all these things. No problem. They are now my servant. So then all the sages were called by Nahusha. And Nahusha told, you carry me with a palanquin. You carry me to Shachi. Then what they will do, they are humble and obeyed. As you are king, we have to obey. So they are obeying. But on the way, because they are not expert palanquin carriers, so they were, not carrying so nicely, They were very, sometimes it was tilting and sometimes, he was feeling disturbed, Nahusha. And also he was proud as king of heaven. So he started scolding all the sages. And in this way, he fell down, spiritually he fell down and he take birth, I think, as a snake or something, So in this way, if somebody is to be fallen, the best way is to offend some devotees. The root cause of all fall down, is offending some great personalities. We see in the history there are so many incidents where Ravana fell down. Ravana already fell down when he insulted Sita. It is also offending a great personality. Then again he insulted Vibhishan. He told Vibhishan to join him. Vibhishan told, I will join you, I will help you, but on one condition, you have to leave Sita, you have to give up Sita. You hand over Sita to Ramchandra, to her husband. So then Ravana told, no, it is impossible. So then Vibhishan left Vibhishana left also, and also Ravana insulted Vibhishana like anything. So this was the root cause of Ravana's becoming loser in the war of Lanka. This was the root cause because he offended Vibhishan. As a great Vaishnava, Vibhishan was a great Ram Bhakta. Similar incident took place when Duryodhana insulted Vidura. Vidura would give some good advice to Dhritarashtra. But when Duryodhana would hear those good advice, he got angry. He told, you are eating in my palace, you are maintained by our money and our food and wealth, but you are giving all wrong advice to my father. You son of a Shudra, you should not stay in our house. We should not maintain you with food and clothing. We should not maintain you by giving house and all these things. You should get out from here. So Vidura took it as a blessings of Krishna. He did not join. To Pandavas also to the. Although his blessings was to the Pandavas, but he did not join any party. He left home, and because Duryodhana insulted a great personality like Vidura, this was the cause of his fall down. Similarly, King Vena, the same thing happened. Similar thing happened. He insulted all the Vaishnavas and Brahmins, and he offended them, and that was the cause of his fall down. But Vaishnavas are all auspicious. Even if they curse, that curse is also auspicious for the person whom they curse. Also to all people it is auspicious. Even curse, you understand how auspicious Vaishnavas are. Even if they curse, that curse becomes auspicious. Just like Narada Muni cursed Nalkuber and Manigrib. What was the auspicity? They had golden chance to have darshan of Krishna face to face. So curse became a benediction. Everything in Vaishnava's life becomes a benediction. Arjuna was cursed by Urvashi, isn't it? Urvashi. Urvashi cursed Arjuna that you become what is called eunuch. So that curse became benediction. When Arjuna was living in incognito in the house of King Virata, he was like, female. He was like female. So he could teach a young girl, the king's daughter, he was teaching 1 year. Because he was, at that time, he was like a female. You understand? So in this way, curse became benediction. Like this, there are so many millions of examples. Bhima was given poison, and he ate poison, isn't it? And what was the result? He got strength of 10,000 elephants. He got the strength by drinking poison. Bhima got, I'm just giving the gist. If you read the elaborate story, you will understand how drinking poison became the cause of his getting strength of 10,000 elephant. Duryodhana tried to burn Pandavas in the Jatugriha, and they married Draupadi. I am giving the gist. They married Draupadi. They made friendship with King Drupada and his son Drishtadumna and his relatives. So number of his soldiers increased. So in this way we see everywhere. Vaishnava is not affected by curse. Curse turn into benediction. If a Vaishnava is cursed, it turns into a benediction. And if a Vaishnava curse somebody, it becomes benediction to all. It becomes benediction to that person whom he curses, and it becomes benediction to the whole society. So when all these sages, they cursed Vena, actually it became benediction for him. We will understand if we listen the whole story, whole history, then we will understand how it became benediction to King Vena, and it became benediction to the whole society. So the king was killed by the curse. You die. After death of King Vena, the Brahmins and Vaishnavas, they are always very sympathetic. they they felt sympathy for King Vena. So they thought, now we have killed him, but we should also give him some mercy. Vaishnava can never never do anything harmful to you. They will, even curse becomes beneficial for you. Just like slap given by father to his son is always actually for the benefit of the child, isn't it? So Vaishnava's curse is like a slap given to somebody for his benefit. So anyway, so when King Bano died, he went to the hellish planet. And from hellish planet he suffered non-stop suffering for many years. He suffered. And after that, he again took birth as a very low-born family, Mlacha family, Prabhupada mentioned. And Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur's commentary, he has written that he first entered into hellish planet, and he suffered there non-stop suffering for many years. Then he came back, I think, on earth, and he took birth in a very low-class family, Mlacha family, and he was suffering from leprosy, Kushtha, he was suffering. So then, in the meantime, what happened, you know the story, that all these merciful sages, they decided that now we should utilize the dead body of Vena. So they were so powerful sages. Sitting in this Kali Yuga, it is next to impossible to understand all these histories. So all the sages, they charmed the thigh of King Vena. And from that thigh, a personality came out. Chant means by some mantra, they had their own technique. A personality came out, very blackish and very odd-looking, ugly-looking, and he is called Nishada. No? Nishada is a very low-class, it is what is called creed. Creed, low-class creed, like Kirata, Hona, Andhra, Pulinda, Pulkasha, and Bhagavatam. There is a list of all these low-born people. So a low-class personality came out from King Vena's thigh when his thigh was charmed by mantra of those qualified Brahmins and Vaishnavas. Anyway, so he was sent because he is sinful. By nature, he was sinful. So in this way, they purified King Vena's body, because all the sins came out and entered into the personality of Nishada. So then all the Brahmins ordered him, you go to forest and live there. So still now there are, descendants of that Nishada. There is a group of, there is a community, Nishada community, still today existing. And after that, they chant, as far as I remember, his arm, no? And then Prithu, the incarnation, empowered incarnation. Prithu is not Vishnu Tattva, but he is empowered incarnation of Krishna, Shaktavesh avatar. Prithu came with another Shaktavesh incarnation of Lakshmi, Orchi. King Prithu and Orchi, both are Shaktavesh. Prithu is the Shaktavesh of Vishnu, and Orchi is the Shaktavesh of Lakshmi. So both of them came out from when the Brahmins, they charmed his arm, both of them came out. And after coming out, when he came out, then all the Brahmins and Vaishnavas started praising him, because they understood his Shaktavesh incarnation is very empowered, special personality. So they started praising. King Prithu and Orchi, Lakshmi. So then Prithu replied, "Why are you praising me unnecessarily? I have not done anything to you. You give me a chance to do some service. Then there is chance for praising. But now I have not done anything for you." So the sages became more pleased by listening these humble words of King Prithu. They started praising more. Anyway, so then later on, he met Narad Muni. Narad Muni met Prithu Maharaj. Narad Muni told, your father was suffering a lot in the hellish planet. Now he is reborn as a leper. He is suffering from leprosy in some lecture family, in such and such place, in such and such house. So when King Prithu heard this, you see how curse given by the Brahmin became a blessing. Brahmins, they cursed Prithu. Of course, he did something wrong and he must suffer. So that suffering was over, but he was also given a blessing that your son Prithu will, it was unwritten blessing, that your son Prithu will rescue you from this hellish condition. So it turned into a blessing. So then Prithu immediately found that house where his father of his before his birth, he already died. Vena already died. So still the soul entered into hellish planet, suffered there a lot, and then he took birth in a mlacha family, low class family. So when Prithu understood, Prithu got the information from Narad Muni, he immediately ran to find out his father. And he found in some house that his father was suffering from leprosy. And then Prithu took him to Kurukshetra. Even today there is a lake, Prithu Lake, Prithu Kunda in Kurukshetra. If you visit Kurukshetra, you can find out a kunda, a small pond called Prithu Kunda. And why this lake in Kurukshetra is called Prithu Kunda? Because he brought his father who was suffering from leprosy, and he, made him take bath in that pond. So from that time it is known as Prithu Kunda, because after taking bath in that kunda, his father became free from leprosy. So in this way, he delivered his father from hellish condition. Here it is written that Prabhupada explained that son means, son is called Putra. Putra and Mutra, both come from the same source. Mutra urine and Putra son, both comes from the same source. But when Putra doesn't perform the duty of a son, then he is equal as Mutra, urine, you understand. So anyway, so these Prithu Maharaj, he established the standard that a Putra should deliver his father, forefathers and father from hellish condition. Even Mahaprabhu went to Gaya to perform, although his father was a nice devotee, but still he did not take any, to teach people, people in general like us, he also went to Gaya and performed Shraddha ceremony, Pinda ceremony in Gaya. Just to teach the duty of Putra, that Putra should all the time try to promote his forefathers and parents from hellish condition. So Prithu Maharaj did this. It is written, Putra, according to the Sanskrit sloka, I collected the Sanskrit sloka, and it is written there, Put is not one hellish planet. It is many planets are called Put. It is a group name. Many planets where forefathers are sometimes sent for suffering. That is called Put. And a son is qualified when he is able to deliver his forefathers or parents from that hellish condition. So Prithu Maharaj did that. And after that, his next duty, he when he was started ruling, at that time all the citizens, they came to him and they are all skinny, because at the time of Vena, there was no production, there was no food production, not only food, even minerals and gold and all these things were, restrained by the deity of earth. Mother Earth restrained, because it is her duty to restrain all this production if the citizens are sinful. So she restrained all productions and people could not eat. So they approached King Prithu that you see our condition without food and comfort, we are now almost going to die. So please do something. So then Prithu, because he was empowered, he called the deity of the earth planet, Vasundhara. Here it is said, Boshuni Bosudha. Bosudha is Vasundhara. So Vasundhara took a form of a cow See, all these incidents is very difficult to digest with the so-called scientific brain of modern people. He called Bosundhara the deity of the earth planet, and earth planet took form of a cow to draw some sympathy. But King Prithu was chasing behind Bosundhara, and finally Bosundhara understood that there is no way to escape from King Prithu. Then she turned back and he asking Prithu, why are you trying to kill me? I have no offense. I am appointed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there is an order given to me, if people are sinful, then withdraw your production. Don't produce food grains, don't produce fruits or minerals. You must withdraw your productions. So I am just obeying Lord Krishna. But now I know you are empowered by God and you are a pious king. I'll help you, I'll cooperate you, but with one condition. The citizens should, become very pious. You are already pious, now you make your country pious. And not only that, I need some affection, just like mother needs some affection to produce milk for her child. Even the calf is called Vatsa. Vatsa means, it is from that Vatsa, the word Vatsalya means affection, is derived from Vatsa. So, cow needs affection to produce milk for her calf. Similarly, I also need some affection. Then King Prithu respected and honored her request, and he arranged for many cups, not only one cup, from human beings, from demigods, from Gandharvas, from different parts of the universe. He invited different personalities to become like a calf. Even Prahlad Maharaj became a calf to Mother Basundhara. Then Basundhara again started producing so many varieties of food grains and fruits and minerals, everything. So that was also done by Prithu Maharaj. So mainly Prithu Maharaj's incarnation, empowered incarnation, is famous for two things mainly as mentioned in this verse. One is to protect his father from hellish condition, and the second is to produce food grains and minerals and other natural wealth profusely at the time of his. And then there are long stories. I think in other canto, I forgot the name of the canto. In other cantos, more elaborate descriptions are given how Prithu Maharaj did 99 Ashwamedha Jagga, but he could not complete the last Jagga due to the request of Brahma. Brahma told no need to compete, and he just obeyed Brahma. And also he invited, no, not invited, I think they came out of their own mercy, the four Kumaras visited Prithu Maharaj. There are many other narrations about Prithu Maharaj. Time is short, and today is also our Ramananda Rai's disappearance day. But I don't think I can say many things on Ramananda Rai. When Chaitanya, I just tell few words in honor of Ramananda Rai. When Mahaprabhu delivered Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and after deliverance of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Ramananda Rai took farewell from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and he told, I'll go to South India. Then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya requested him, please meet Ramananda Rai, because when I was a Mayavadi impersonalist, at that time Ramananda Rai would talk to me sometimes. He would preach to me about Krishna and Krishna's pastimes, especially about Krishna's Madhurya Ras. But at that time, I ignored Ramananda Rai. But now, after realizing that you are the incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead, now I understand the standard of Ramananda Rai. He is a very great devotee. So, as you are going to South India, he is ruling on behalf of Urisha, on behalf of Utkal, on behalf of King Prataprudra. He is the governor at the area in South India, Godavari, near Godavari River. So you take the chance to give him darshan. I think he will be very happy. So Ramananda Mahaprabhu went, and he knew he is God, he knows everything. He was sitting at the west bank of Godavari, he was sitting, and Ramananda Rai came with all followers. They were playing flute, they were playing drums, because in those days this was the standard to, just like nowadays many armies they salute governor, but in those days that was not there, but they were singing and playing drum to glorify the governor. So he took bath, Ramananda Rai took bath in Godavari, and when he looked to the western ghat of Godavari, he saw a very effulgent personality, God himself, and he realized this is a special personality. So he came near and he offered obeisances, and immediately Ramananda Mahaprabhu wanted to embrace him, but because these Brahmins are, majority of those Brahmins are smartas, so he could not embrace. He was controlling himself. Then another Brahmin invited Mahaprabhu that you please take lunch today in my house. Then Mahaprabhu told Ramananda Rai, you please come again. I want to talk to you again. I want to meet you again. So in this way, Mahaprabhu left. And next day, Mahaprabhu came to the same spot, and Ramananda Rai also visited Mahaprabhu again. That day only with one person, one servant. He did not come with group as a governor. So then Mahaprabhu got the chance, he embraced him. Both of them started crying like anything, because Ramananda Rai is, I think, Vishakha, incarnation of Vishakha. So then Mahaprabhu asked many questions. If I read all these questions, time will be over. So I am not reading. Please, if you have time, you can read all those questions, very beautiful questions. Then Mahaprabhu finally instructed him, you come back to Orissa after South India tour. I will go back to Orissa. You come back to Puri, then we will enjoy our life. Enjoyment, spiritual enjoyment. We will associate together. We will discuss about Krishna, speaking Krishna Katha. So please come, resign from this job of governor. So Ramananda Rai listened to Mahaprabhu. He resigned from his job. He is the son of Bhavananda Rai, who had 5 sons. They are incarnation of Pancha Pandab. And Bhavananda Rai's wife was incarnation of Kunti. So anyway, and this Ramananda Rai was so exalted. One time Pradyumna Mishra went to listen Krishna Katha from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, I am not qualified to speak Krishna Katha, but I can send you to somebody who is qualified to speak Krishna Katha. Who is that? He is Ramananda Rai. Please go and meet him. So then Pradyumna Mishra went to meet Ramananda Rai. At that time, Ramananda Rai was giving some rehearsal to some young girls, on Krishna Lila. And he was touching those young girls, he was dressing them, he was painting their faces. You understand? So Pradyumna Mishra immediately lost his respect. And what I listen from this man? He is touching young girls. So then he came back to Mahaprabhu. He told Mahaprabhu, you send me to somebody who is not, I don't think he is qualified to speak on Krishna Katha. Then Mahaprabhu told, you misunderstood. He is in such a platform, such a high spiritual platform. He doesn't see difference between male body and female body. So you don't mind, you go and ask him again. So then again Pradyumna Mishra went and requested him to speak Krishna Katha. Then Ramananda Rai managed time and he started speaking on Krishna Katha. Then when Krishna Katha was finished, that Pradyumna Mishra started jumping and dancing like a madman. This is the effect of Krishna Katha. He started dancing and chanting like a madman. So anyway, time is over. If you have any comment or question, we can spare a few more minutes.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for your nice class. Prabhuji, Prithu Maharaj is considered the Acharya of Archanam, worshipping. Why it is called so? What did he do?
He must have performed very good quality Archan throughout his whole life. Sometimes he is also called, he is in the parampara of Kumara Sampradaya, because he met 4 Kumaras and 4 Kumaras initiated him. So in this way, he is also called, he is one of the Acharya of Kumara Sampradaya, and he is the best example of Archana devotee, Archana Prithu Pujane. So because he did that, he was performing Archana very perfectly throughout his whole life. Okay?
And my second query is, what is the place name where Ramananda Rai and Chaitanya Prabhu met on the bank of
I
the
was reading
Godavari?
today, this morning,
Yeah,
that it was the west bank of
Godavari.
Godavari river,
Yeah.
but exact place I did not, still now I don't know. Huh? Rajo Mahendrawari, Andhra Pradesh. So they are from South India, they know. Hare Krishna, Bhagavan Prabhu. Now our Bhagavan Prabhu will speak something.
You were saying that the devotees see everything positively. How do you see things positive that are simply negative things? Like somebody steals your mobile, or it's really hot, or you get bit by one of these tiny little red ants and it's like a scorpion. And so many miseries. How you say that he sees everything positive, but there's some things seems like there's just nothing positive about them. They're just
Everything
miseries.
is positive to a pure devotee. Everything is positive to a pure devotee. Pandavas went to the forest for 12 years. It was positive for them. They got chance to associate with so many nice devotees. They had chance to live like sannyasis in the forest, you know. Anyway, for a pure devotee, everything is positive. Even apparently, it looks like negative. And for non-devotee, nothing is positive. Neither they can realize that everything is positive, nor they get the result of positiveness. But a devotee can understand, even if you do something wrong, just like Vena, he did something wrong, he got punishment. He got punishment. Now, for non-devotee, they magnify the enjoyment. They ignore, they forget the punishment. And devotee, they magnify the punishment and they ignore enjoyment. Suppose non-devotee drinking wine, oh, I am enjoying. But he doesn't know his future, how much he will suffer. Just like Vena, he was suffering in hellish condition. So, this suffering is helpful. Suffering is helpful. If we are ignoring devotional life, then Krishna will give suffering. Just like Kunti says, give me suffering, give me suffering. So, for Kunti, devotee like Kunti, even suffering is positive. Suffering is positive because it will increase my devotion to Krishna. Otherwise, I will magnify material enjoyment. I will think, oh, there is only material enjoyment and there is no suffering. Suffering is zero. Enjoyment is everything. So, this is materialistic conception. But a devotee understands, if I enjoy, I will suffer. If I enjoy so-called enjoyment, material, inferior enjoyment, the result will be suffering. So they give importance on that side. They can magnify, they can see suffering more clearly than the non-devotees. Non-devotees, they think everything is enjoyment. There is no suffering. So in this way, for devotee, real devotee, he somehow or other he will find out that everything is positive. Even in my, I am not a devotee, but in my life I have found many instances where apparently negative things finally became positive. Many instances. Even in your life, you think deeply, you will understand that first I thought this is negative, but later on I discovered it is positive. There are so many incidences in so many devotees' life. So we have to develop that eyes to see properly. Then you will understand everything is positive in devotee's life. Even punishment is positive in devotee's life. I don't know, I tried to make you understand. Is it clear, Prabhu? Hare Krishna. Any other comment or question? Mataji. Time is over, so if anybody likes to go, you can go, because time is over.
Prabhu, I think I got the answer from the previous question you just answered, but still I will go ahead and ask that the curse that turns into benediction, curse from a Vaishnava turns into a benediction only for a Vaishnava, or because if someone is offending, he should also get reaction for that and get punished.
Yeah,
So
very
how
nice
do we
question.
understand this?
Actually, Nalkubar was not Vaishnava. They are not Vaishnava. They are enjoying life like anything, and they did not respect Narada Muni. Of course, as children of demigods, we cannot say they are non-devotees, but their devotional life was spoiled. But because they offended Narada Muni, and Narada Muni cursed them, so they had chance to have darshan of Krishna in Vrindavan. So the curse turned into blessing. So even if somebody is not a devotee, but Vaishnava's cards always will give some benefit, blessing. Is it okay?
But still, if someone offends knowingly,
Oh,
then he,
now this
So
is
this is-
another deep point. Now, okay, if Vaishnava's cards become a blessing, let me start cursing from today. Let me start offending from today. All the Vaishnavas, I'll collect so much benediction. Yeah, but at the same time, Nalkuber, they were standing for so many lakhs of years, no? They were standing like a tree. Vena, although he got chance to be delivered by Prithu, but he entered into hellish planet. It is not a pure benediction. It is a benediction like after a slap. You understand? So who wants slap from father? Father, give me some rasgulla. Okay, it is okay. But who wants slap from father? So yeah, I understand your question, but I don't think that we want to get some benediction by offending Vaishnavas. Am I clear? Hare Krishna. So Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Samavita Vaishnava Bhakta Brinda ki, Nitai Gaur Pramanande. Hari Hari.